Hello, Jammin. How you doing? How you doing? Come closer. Actually, it's good there. It's the last day of August, and so I thought that I would share what I've done for my self-study this month and keep that within the months is the plan. Let's see how well we can stick to the plan. It's good to be free and feel free and be like, we just doing something. But then also there's beauty in structure and discipline and challenges. So the self-study of August, we took notes and stuff. We professional, okay? First of all, my focus has been on, so I shared the video, made the video, the introduction to Africa before slavery, and I've done some more research. So I found this one YouTube video and I'll link it down below. I really liked the way the man was sharing the information in the video. It was like animations and stuff and going through history, and he had some good points that I just want to share. Number one, hold up, I'm just gonna get some lip balm. Okay, so again, I want to keep this as authentic as possible and not really coming here to give the right or the wrong answers, but more the act of questioning. And this video that I watched today that I'll talk more about later, but I just want to mention. Okay, so I'm talking about structure, bringing in more structure, and it's a journey, okay? We're gonna get there. But for now, just deal with the way that I deliver, okay? So, this lady that was talking about, okay, the first thing that I've been focusing on has been Africa before slavery. The second thing has been digestion, and the reason why I've focused on digestion is through something called human design. If you haven't checked it out yet, I recommend you to check it out. I'm going to talk a little bit about it in this video, but I'll reserve videos for it more in the future when I have more experience with it. Last thing that I want to talk about today is the Mayan Dreamspell calendar, which has been blowing my mind. I enjoyed studying it today, going into it today. What the lady that I was watching the video of today said about questioning, she broke the word down into question. And a quest is a journey, right? It's a adventure of an exploration, and it's so profound. Like, it's so simple. I swear, I promise, the deepest things are usually so simple, and it just requires this, it's like a seed. You have a single seed and it carries so much information and knowledge and can turn into this humongous tree. So that's where I want to share with you guys while I'm investigating, while I'm studying. And it's not about having the right or wrong answer, because that's what I feel personally ruined a lot of my confidence and self-esteem and curiosity within the conventional educational system, where it's like there's one way of doing something, this is the way we do it, and if you don't do it that way, then you're less worthy, then you're not where you need to be. You need to work to get to this lane, follow this lane. And for me, the reason why I'm doing self-study is because the beauty of life is that there are not one single way of doing it the right way. There's different ways of doing it, and the way to experience your own best way is by experiencing and expressing and loving and falling down and getting up again and learning something on your way up and learning something on your way down. And yes, so that wasn't too bad, right? Structure, here we come. Oh. I'm still gonna have my flavor though. I'm gonna share what I remember as I remember it, and then you do your own research if it intrigues you, if it interests you. Africa before slavery, he was talking about the reason why we don't see a lot of artifacts and buildings and things in Africa of long time ago, even though you go to Egypt and you see the huge pyramids and stuff that have been there for either 12,000 years or 36,000 years. Reason for that is because the structures that they call the Sphinx align with the star constellation of Leo, or the zodiac constellation, but you can see it as a star constellation, right? Basically what they're saying, again, I can't prove or disprove, but it makes sense for me, and it's interesting, it's exploring, it's questioning, is that the pyramids, there's also 3 pyramids by the Pyramid of Giza, and 3 of them align with the Orion's belt. And with the technology that we have today, when you go back 12,000 years, that's when the alignment is perfect. And the degrees and the angles of the pyramid, it's mathematically perfect and harmonious with the mathematics of the earth, the diameters and things like that. So it's really interesting stuff. I highly recommend checking it out. There's this guy called, he's written a lot of books, Graham Hancock. I do write down the sources. You can check out on Gaia.com. I probably sound like I'm sponsored by them. I'm not. If you see this video and you're from Gaia and you want to sponsor me or give me a free subscription, I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say no. Okay, from what he's seen about the pyramids and from being there and experiencing the structures, he feels like the best people to actually study the structures would be mathematicians, because they have that kind of thinking, you know, and that interest. So that's really exciting. Back to Africa and the structures and stuff. So the reason why there's not a vast, according to, or from my understanding of the guy's video on YouTube, which will be linked down below, is that a lot of people, or that the continent were filled by people who were moving around, and they were not staying in one position long enough for buildings and structures of any magnitude to be relevant or effective or necessary. And the reason for that, he's saying, is that the climate is so altering, it changes so much that it wouldn't make sense to stay in a place and suffer or like go through the drought, go through the massive rain season, but move with the season. And it makes so much sense for me. I was just like, it makes sense, like 1 + 1 is 2, you feel me? That's how the animals move naturally. They move around. Everything moves around, everything evolves, everything changes, even though we feel like things stay the same because we live in structures that usually, like, the building stays the same from how we perceive it, but still there's things that we have to change with the house. We have to paint it, we move the clothes and the things around in the room, like everything, nothing stays the same all the time. So it would make sense for people to move around. And imagine like 30,000 years ago in Africa, or even longer, 50,000, 80,000, 180,000, 230,000 years ago, how abundant the land would have been, and how you can just move around and all the food that you need, all the resources that you need are around you. Because you're living in nature, because you're living in the environment, you know it inside and out, you know how to use it, how to receive and how to give back to the land, and there's this natural flow going on. Like, it makes sense for me. I'm like, yes, but I don't feel like this is only for Africa. I think this has been, it depends on the time and the space and the land itself. The maps that we see have changed as well. The lands move, the oceans move. So interesting. Now, my focus, the reason why I wanted to focus on Africa before slavery is because, as I said in the introduction video, but I didn't really get to the point of it, or if you have the ability to follow my open mind, then you would have gotten it. But a very focused point for me of going back to Africa before slavery is because when you know your roots beyond belief systems, beyond religion, beyond I don't know, like just to the core of your roots and the where you come from, like source. That's why I was focusing on religion, and that where you're sourced has such an important factor in how you move throughout your life, how you feel about yourself and the people around you, how you feel about the land itself, the respect you have or the disrespect that you have. And that's why it was so important for me. Another point about Africa as well, and I was bringing up this in the other video about storytelling, and storytelling being the source of information and the means of exchanging information from elderly to young, but also from young to elderly, is that there wasn't a lot of written texts, because you're not stopping in a place again to write anything down. Everything comes naturally. There's a natural flow to things. You use nature as your teacher. And since you are in this state of everything changes, I don't think it would make sense to write something down, because it might change, it might transform. And I'm not saying that it's not good to write things down. I love to write things down, okay? I got 2 books where I write, like I don't even write page after page. I jump back and forth in the book, like, yeah, bro. So, and in Ghana too, the tradition of, from my own experience and my family and my grandmother, the tradition of listening to the elders and hear their stories about life and what they know, sharing their knowledge and passing it on, but then also listening to the children and experiencing where we have boundaries, because children will push your boundaries, and experiencing where you have the boundaries and which boundaries should be more flexible, which boundaries do we release and which new boundaries do we need to establish depending on where we are, what time it is, who we are. So there's this balance and this harmony within the world that once we tap into that, child, it's gonna be so beautiful. It already is so beautiful with all the destructive energy going on. It's still so beautiful if you decide to look for the beauty. And just imagining how it can become even more beautiful is like, give me chills, y'all. It gives me chills. So I'm also really inspired from the Mayan Dreamspell calendar. Again, I'll leave links down below and I'll structure it up so you can see it nice and clear for you, okay? I care about you and I care about the information. I care about the one loveness of it all and the curiosity and the passion and yes. So human design is basically, what is human design? It's like biology meets spirituality meets, or it's biology with the awareness of energy. That's how I would explain it. It's biology with the awareness of energy. And it's biology at its core, and with the knowing that this is not all that I am. This is a experience of me. This is an expression of me, and my own expression. My expression has its own signature. And how can I align with that signature to express my truest self, my most authentic self, my happiest self, even my saddest self, just experiencing the truth of myself, okay? Because you can't have joy without sadness, again. And then the Mayan, but the human design is not like something you can read up about and be like, okay, this is what I gotta do, this is what I don't have to do. It's something that you have to put into practice, something you have to explore and experience as you get to know yourself. And it's beautiful. I'm gonna talk more about it in future for sure. And then the Mayan Dreamspell calendar. So for me, I've been lately, or this year more or less, I've been focusing on the harmony of it all, and how disharmonious the society we live in is, how we don't have time to really pay attention to our children, and because we're so tired from the work that we do that feels meaningless, yet we have to do it to sustain a life that we believe is the ideal life, and so caught up on fear and holding on to the security of knowing how it is and what it is, and not releasing to explore and to get to know what could be and the potential, the possibility. The Mayan Dreamspell calendar is a way of, it's like a doorway or a path towards living more in harmony with yourself, with the earth, with the harmony that the earth experiences as it orbits around the sun, the star, the solar system that we are in, and then also the harmony of our solar system on the grand scale of the universe. You see how this stuff is not playing games, yo. It's real. And that one too, these are also things that require of you to give it your attention, and to love yourself enough to be curious about yourself and where you are. And yeah, like, it's so amazing. I just love it. I'm so happy to be alive. I'm an emotional being. Through human design, you'll know what your authority is. For me, it's my solar plexus, emotions. So I be going up and down, and when I'm really happy, I'm really happy. And when I'm really sad, then I just need to ride it out. You feel me? I just need to be in my little corner, get my put on some beautiful music. If I need to cry it out, I cry it out. I actually hadn't cried in a long time, and yesterday I cried, and it felt really good. It was like I was crying and laughing at the same time, because I was just realizing or remembering aspects of myself that I had been pushing down, you know, deep truths and fears. And yeah, it's a beautiful time to be alive. So that was the summary for self-study of August 2018. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so happy if you got this far. I'm excited to hear anything that you're curious about, anything that you're studying. If you are, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to leave a like. I don't want to do this because it's like, if you like it, you're gonna like it, but it helps the channel. So I'm just gonna say that now. It helps the channel, it helps me out to see your genuine interest, and also it gets more traffic to the channel, because we expanding over here. We're not playing games, you feel me? So again, thank you so much for watching. Stay jamming, stay loving. This is quartz. Okay, forget it. All night long, oh hey, all night long, all night. And have a beautiful September. Are you ready for September? I know I am.